to Adobe Spark, your secret weapon for designing social content. I'm Abby Larner.
I'm Veronica Belmont.
And we're both Spark PMs. Just so you know a little bit more about us, my background is in design and front-end development. I worked as a freelance designer for a while. I've done in-house, and I even taught at a coding boot camp for a short period. So I'm really excited to be here to teach you all about Spark. And Veronica?
Yeah, I have a super weird background. I came from a tech journalism background. I was an audio video producer. Oh, thank you. Hi. And I've been a PM for the last several years and just joined Adobe back in July.
Awesome. All right, so just to give you a little heads up on how this presentation is going to work, we're going to start by giving you a crash course in social media content, how to create the best content for yourselves. Then we're going to go into a boot camp, an Adobe Spark boot camp, so you're going to get to see a live demo of our products. And then we're going to finish by giving you a wide variety of inspiration of awesome things you can do with Spark. So,
and by the way, if you want to play along, please feel free to download Spark on iOS. We have the new post release in Android as well. See, this is what we were supposed to sound like, you guys. Can we try one more time? Are you having fun? Yeah!
There we go. They know what's going on.
We're just in a sound sandwich now. But anyway, yeah, so feel free to play along, download Spark. One of the great things about Spark is that it is super easy to use. So if you feel like playing along with us while we're giving the presentation, it's better than being on Twitter. So use Spark, don't do Twitter. Or you can tweet about the presentation. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we won't be insulted if you're on your phones. We'd actually be excited. And I can almost guarantee this will be the easiest thing you learn all week. So here we go. All right, so when I was a freelance designer, just to start with a little story, I used to think I was constantly wondering the same thing, which I'm sure a lot of you wonder on a daily basis. How do I get customers? Or how do I get more customers? And so I essentially boiled it down to social media. It's a great way to reach people. There's really passionate people on there. You can get new customers. You can engage existing customers. And so I came up with what I call the 3 B's of social media marketing. Be analytical, be authentic, and be aggressive. So before I jump into more specifics about these, I want to start with a little story. I just got a puppy. His name is Sully. He's super adorable, and I'm hashtag obsessed. So on occasion, he'll do really weird things, like line up all of his toys parallel to each other with their heads on the same side.
That's just weird.
And obviously, I question it. I'm like, okay, this is a little weird for a dog, but maybe he's just a neat freak. That'd be super nice, right? But then he does things like this. This is his tequila squeaky toy.
We all have one of those, right?
And he just got pretty excited one night at 10 o'clock and decided to go for a little run. Yep, that's him. And that's the point where I start thinking, oh my gosh, I need to call the vet. What the heck is going on? And of course, the vet isn't open at 10 p.m., so I go to the next best thing, Dr. Google. And so this is kind of where the Be Analytical comes in. Through Google, I found this awesome service called Rover. I'm a huge fan. I am a weekly customer. There's a person from Rover watching my dog right now, and they have done an incredible job of knowing their audience and figuring out how to reach them. So number one, pet lovers are generally on Instagram. I got a lot of ads even before I got a dog for Rover. They have lots of cute memes and things like that. And they're also not the type of company that says every pet owner is our audience. If you think everybody is your audience, you're kidding yourself, really. So they have honed in on a specific type of dog owner. Number one, they really focus on people who are new pet owners and who have puppies. And they also focus on people who are obsessed with their dogs, like me. Well, that might be everybody. I don't know. So this is a little screen grab that I did of their Facebook page. And I think it gives a good overview of how well they target their audience. Blueberry oat scones for dogs. These are the type of people that are going to go cook for their dogs or bake for their dogs. How often do I walk my puppy? That is definitely one that I Googled myself. Things my dog barks at, so I can see that nobody else's dogs bark at intruders either. So really, they have honed in on their audience, and they've done a really good job of it. So they're looking at who are their people and how can I reach them. That's the first part of being analytical. And that's me the other weekend. I made homemade dog treats.
I thought this was literally from Pinterest, and no, it was actually a photo that she took of her own puppy baking treats.
Yes.
Pretty amazing.
Okay, be authentic. This is another one that's really important when you're trying to build your presence on social media. And really, this is about getting your values and your personality across to your audience, but also reflecting your audience's values and personality in your posts as well. So one person that I think does this really well is one of my favorite illustrators out of Madison, Wisconsin, Emily Balsley. I don't know if anyone's heard of her, but she's awesome. She does great illustrations, but she also posts things like happy birthday to her husband. Her family is a huge value that she has, and she does a lot of work with kids as well. She also cares a lot about, being civically engaged, encouraging people to vote. And you can see from her Instagram that she also has like a very unique style. You can definitely tell it's hers. She does these, right now she's doing an Inktober series, but she's also done things like 100 ways to say I love you in different languages. So really, I think that she gets her personality across. She's very authentic. You can tell that it's her work. And this is something that's you definitely want to strive for when you're creating content for social media. And then finally, be aggressive. One of the things I love almost as much as my dog is ice cream. I literally can't get enough of it. And after living in Wisconsin, the land of milk and cheese, for 3 years, I pretty much was hooked for life. So this being aggressive is really about the volume of content that you put out there and the consistency of it. And so, again, one of my favorite companies, Ben & Jerry's, they do an amazing job. Again, you can see their Facebook page. They have these engaging videos. They have little ice creams coming out of pumpkins. They're using the same fonts, the same colors. Consistency-wise, you can tell that it's their marketing. And also, not only that, the amount of content that they have really makes me want to eat some ice cream right now. So they do an awesome job. And you might be thinking, well, Abby, Ben & Jerry's is a huge company. They have a giant marketing team who's doing all of this for them, and I might just be an individual freelancer. Maybe I work at a small agency. So how do I do this all on my own? There's two things. The first is what I call the 80-20, 60-40 rule. And 80-20 refers to the focus of your content. So 80% of your content should be focused towards your niche audience. So in Rover's case, we talked about who their target audience was. 80% of the content is going to be about how often do I walk my dog, how many times should I give my dog a bath, things like that. And then 20% is fun memes, things that people are going to enjoy, things that are going to engage people, but aren't necessarily like strictly related to that. So the oatmeal scones was a good example. Like, it's a baking post, but it's related to your dog in a way. So the 60-40 part of this really relates to the who creates the content. So if you're an individual, you don't have time to be creating 100% of your content all the time. I say 60% of your content should be created by you, blog posts, social media graphics, things like that. And then 40% is just awesome stuff you find on the internet that's created by other people that you think your audience would really enjoy. So this is my first piece of advice for being your own content marketer. And my second piece is Adobe Spark. I kid you not, this is going to be the fastest, easiest way to create beautiful content. We've got programs that help you create social graphics, videos, web pages, and this is all stuff that you can use to start engaging and growing your audiences. So that's the intro crash course. And now it's time for our Adobe Spark Bootcamp. So Veronica and I are actually both really into fitness and weightlifting. This is us. That was actually Veronica this morning. Yeah. I'm really impressed that she did that. So our little example here that we're going to walk you through is when I was a freelancer, I started noticing that a lot of my customers were fitness related. So gyms, sports camps, yoga studios, things like that. And these were patterns that I started to notice. That's a good thing to look for when you have a business, is who's coming to you. And part of the reason was because I was so plugged into the fitness industry that it was natural for me to be having those conversations with people. So we have created our little fictional endurance studios. This is a freelance design agency that does work specifically for the fitness industry. And so all of the posts and pages and videos that we're creating today are going to be related to this. And I'm going to let Veronica take it away.
All right. So first of all, how many of you out there are already using Spark or have tried it in the past? All right. Excellent. Let's get into here. So for a lot of you, this is very familiar. This is called the organizer. This is where all your projects live in Spark. And we're going to walk through a little bit of the brand manager first, and I'm going to show you how to set that up. So if you're brand new, if you haven't set up your brand yet, this is really where you get going. And this is where that consistency comes into play. So if you have a logo already for your brand, that's going to really get you started off right. So we're going to upload our logo here from our desktop. Let's see, desktop, logos. Let's see which one we like best. We've got a number here because of our wonderful designer, Abby, that we hired. Next, we're going to pick a color. Now, Spark uses design intelligence to pull colors out of your logo to figure out which ones are going to be most important to your brand. This is pretty easy because we just had 2 colors in our primary logo, so it figured out right away this black and this gold are perfect for us. Great. So we're going to select these. Let's make that our primary color. Awesome. And then fonts. One of the big highlights of having your own personal brand is being able to have your very own font. Now, this is something that you can pick from Adobe Fonts, for example, or it's something you can find anywhere on the internet because we allow you to actually take them and upload them from your own computer or device. So we're going to add our own font here. Go back to the desktop, studio. Where was our font again? Oh, we might not have downloaded it.
Oh, yeah, we don't.
We switched computers, so we don't actually have the font here. So let's just pick a different one. On our final version, we'll have better examples there. So once we pick our font, our color, and our logo, we can click Next, and the brand magic will begin. So it actually takes a little while to cook up the magic, so we're going to go back to our original template here and go into Manage Brand. And I can show you how that looks once everything's been added. So Abby picked a different highlight color. That's awesome. And we have our custom logo here, Poppins Extra Bold. Now you'll see right off the bat that we've created a lot of basic templates for you that fit into the theme of a small business owner, somebody who's going to be making a lot of content for social media. So you can see here we have things like quotes, we have blog posts, we have grand opening ceremonies, like workshops, all sorts of stuff that's going to make it really easy for you to feel inspired about what you want to do with your company or your brand. Here we have the different templates that are available for our other formats. For example, Page, which enables you to make beautiful landing pages, websites, blog posts, marketing, splash pages, all sorts of different things that you want to link out to on social media. If we click into them, we can actually get very fine-tuned into how we want those themes to appear. Not everybody has to do this, but if you feel like you want to add a little something extra to how your theme appears when you share it out on social, this is the way to do it. So we can change like our H1 headings and how those look, for example. We can change the font or the color or the shape. We can change how our CTAs appear. It's basically, there's a lot of options here if you want to make it your own. All right, we'll say done. It's going to save. And then finally, similarly, we have themes for video that you can also go in and fine tune. At the bottom here, you can add your logo, your watermark, your word mark to your video projects or pages. This is going to show how your CTAs appear again, and it's also going to show how the stamp on all of your video projects appears when you share those out as well. You can also change what your outro video looks like. This is the final slide in Spark Video that's going to appear that sends users where you want them to go. So for example here, we have our Endurance Studios website. We couldn't get the .com?
No, it's already taken.
All right, that's too bad. Just kidding, it's not real.
Yeah, if you go there, you'll get a 404 error.
All right, cool. Great. We should have actually set that up. That would have been
cool.
Good idea. Yeah. All right, so back in our organizer, we have a lot of options of what we can do. Everything is centered around the big blue button at the top. We click that and we're taken into our visual browse. This is where you can browse hundreds, thousands of different templates that are designed by us at Adobe Spark, by our design team, that make it really easy for you to get started off on the right foot. You can spend a lot of time looking through these and playing around and changing them to however you see fit. But today we're going to start from scratch. Let's do a graphic. Spark is going to ask me now if I want to start with my branded assets or if I want to start completely from scratch. So branded assets, of course, mean it's going to use our colors, it's going to use our logo treatment, it's going to use our fonts, everything that we've already set up in the brand manager. Let's see, let's do a YouTube thumbnail. Great. This is our editor. This is where we can make changes to the template or start completely from scratch. Now, everything here in Spark is totally adjustable. So if I double click on the text here, I can change. Let's do 5 tips for social success. Great. So that looks good, but I want it to be a little bigger. I want it to stand out a little bit more. So I can simply drag and drop. Do that. I can move it around the page wherever I want. We have some grids that show us where the center is. We can align it to different points on the page, for example. And this image here, this doesn't fit in at all with what we're trying to convey. So I'm going to double click on it. And now I can either upload a photo from my desktop or I can find free photos. Now honestly, finding free photos for me is like the best. We have access to thousands upon thousands of free photos that you can use completely royalty free. You can use them for commercial purposes, you can use them for advertising, whatever you want. So don't worry about that. Let's search for kettlebells?
Yeah.
Let's see what we get.
And here's a quick tip while she's searching. Anytime in Spark that you see a shuffle button, it means you're going to get more variety. So maybe you're going to get more variety in colors, more variety in shapes or fonts. And so if you see that shuffle button, you should definitely try it out, see what it gives you. It's just a great way of sort of finding more inspiration within the app.
Absolutely. All right, so now we have our beautiful kettlebells here. We can do some things like change the filters on the image. We can do a little shuffling there, changes some of the features there as well. We can flip. Yeah, I think I like it there. And we can scale and rotate. Basic image editing stuff that makes it feel the way you want it to feel. And then we can go into a little bit more about how we can change the design of the look and feel of this particular post as well, just so you get an idea of how flexible Spark really is. So if I'm not happy with the way this looks, if I'd like a different treatment for this text, I can go into Style. And this is our wheel. This is our design wheel. And basically, you can just play around with it until you see something that feels right. This is another really addictive feature. Oh, that's very bold. I like that one. Oh, I like that one too. But that's our Power Pilates logo. So we won't use that one today. Perfect. So that's one way we can change the design. Or if we want to go really bold, we can play around with the overall design of the entire layout. Now we have specific designs here that fit the shape of the social media posts that we're creating. So these are just ones that we suggest, but you can see we can get a real fast look at how these are going to look right off the bat, and I can fiddle around with this, see how it look. That looks really strong, and I like this down here. It feels very sporty, but let's play around a little bit more. That's cool. I like that. Yeah, but I think we can get even better. How about this one? It's basically the same one, but you get the idea. There's a number of other things you can do here as well. If you add the plus button at the top, you can add additional text. You can add additional photos if we change the layout to be able to fit more photos. You can add icons from Noun Factory. which are a noun project rather. So these are great. So we can also do kettlebells, just as an example. And it's going to pull all the kettlebells from their library. Let's see if we got more if we do it that way. Yeah, there we go. And these are also all free to use. You can even use them for your own logo design. So if you want to create a completely new brand, these are all available for you to use. Add your own text, add your own treatments, your own colors. These are a great starting point. And then finally, your logo. So I notice here we don't have our logo on the page, but if I click the logo button at the top, suddenly all those logos that I uploaded earlier in my brand manager are available. So I can get one that matches the color that I like. It puts it automatically in a place it thinks it will work, but for our video treatment here, our photo treatment here, I think it's better on this other side. That's just a real quick and dirty view at how you can make a post very quickly.
Do you want to show the Brandify?
We're
on the same page.
So Brandify. Now this is the magic button. This is available on all of our iOS apps as well. It's also available on the web. And essentially what it does is gives you a really fast way to completely add all of those brand elements onto a design that you already like. So if I click Brandify, suddenly we've got our fonts, we've got our colors, we've got our logo, and we're ready to go. We have some other examples of things that we've created for post for Endurance Studios, like quotes, for example, quotes from happy customers. You can use these on social media, you can put them on your blog post anywhere, you can share them out, you can print them on cards and not Photoshop them, like actually print them in your studio around the wall. That would be a fun thing to do. These are some of our other fake brands that we created. And that's just a really great way to get started with creating social. Oh, speaking of social, one other thing, the resize button. This is another killer feature that's going to make it really fast and easy for you to post things out to all those different social networks that we use every day to promote our brands. This is a big one because when you're promoting your brand on social media, it has to be consistent. We've talked about that. But your brand needs to be consistent across all of those various ways that you're speaking to customers. That way they know how to find you, they know what they're looking for, and it just feels cohesive. It feels a lot more professional. So to do that, you just click on Resize, and we have all of the ways that the different social posts, what's the word I'm looking for? It's the dimensions.
Aspect ratio.
Thank you, aspect ratio. It's nice having another person up here, let me tell you. So it has all the different aspect ratios available for all the various social networks. So if I want something for a Snapchat story, for example, I can click on that. It's going to redo it perfectly for Snapchat. Sorry, should I do Instagram story instead? Is that more relevant these days? Okay, Instagram story. We can do Facebook covers, your social profiles. I do a podcast, for example, and all of my social profile headers are done in Spark, just because if they ever update the sizes, if they ever fiddle around with them, I don't want to have to worry about how those are going to look. I want to just be able to click one button and know that it's going to fit perfectly in that space that I'm trying to fill. All right, let's head back into our editor. Does that feel like it covers Post?
I think so.
All right. We just launched Post for Android, by the way. I think I mentioned that in the beginning, but that was one of our big Spark announcements this week. All right, let's jump into video next. So video is great. It uses basically a series of slides to create a video that you can share on social, and it's very fast, very easy, and allows you to add all of your own narration. So let's do where's our process?
I think it might have been at the top.
At the very top. There we go. Okay.
So a lot of, if you're like a freelance design agency, it's really important to show people how you work. And so what Veronica is going to do is create a video that looks at the process of a design agency that you would be able to share with your customers. We all know that video drives a ton of engagement on social media, but video for a lot of people feels almost inaccessible. It feels difficult to do. But in fact, by using this, you can take photos from your own camera roll, you can take photos from the internet that you have the rights to, you can use our free photos, you can use videos from free video sites, and make something that looks extremely professional and ready to share on social. So I've already preloaded this a little bit with text, just so we can see how it looks once we start putting it together. But for this first one, I'm going to upload a photo from our desktop. Got our cover here. Let's see. Yeah, that one's perfect. So when you get into video, we have a number of different layouts here. We have full screen, split screen, caption, and text and title.
And this is our text and title, for example, but we can click around and actually see how these different ones look a little bit. Split screen, caption, and text and title. Yeah, and just like in Post, these are all clickable. There's a few less options here because we have a set of design guardrails in place in Spark that make it easy for someone who's not necessarily a professional designer to be able to adhere to the rules, the design concepts that we at Adobe really believe in and believe are the most effective. So we do put some of those in place, but they look awesome. So that's our title screen. And then this red button here, this is how we narrate everything. And I really believe that narration works best in the app, actually, because you can really just hold down the button and record it like you're using a handheld digital recorder. It's super easy. And the slide is going to lengthen or shorten depending on the length of your narration, so you don't have to worry about any trimming or clipping of the audio assets there.
And one more note about the narration, too. There was a lot of audio engineering that went into the narration, knowing that people who are putting together Spark videos probably don't have audio studios. Really, they've put a lot of effort into making that the best quality sound you can get sitting in an office or in your apartment. And the other thing you'll notice is that actually when there's narration, the background music will automatically...
auto-ducking.
Yeah, auto-ducking. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. You weren't on keynote yesterday? They talked all about auto-ducking.
I had to leave early.
It's okay.
I know.
I understand.
I'm sad I missed that.
So we do employ technology like that to make it sound as good as possible, which is awesome because I'm kind of an audio nerd, but I was impressed by how good this sounds just using your iPhone or just using your computer microphone. It's great. So we can do all sorts of things here. We can go back and add more icons if we want. Let's do a muscle. We can pull that in. Let's see. Why? Is that an onion? I don't know. Let's see what that looks like bigger. That's weird. I don't know what that is, but that's okay. For this purpose, it's fine. Is it like, okay. I'm going to switch. I don't like it. Let's do that one. Okay. That's better. That's a little better. So this is an example of our split screen format. Now, you can change the theme in here as well. As we mentioned earlier in your brand manager, this is kind of where all that comes to the fore. We can change our themes here just by clicking on the brand theme. And you're going to see that it changes the primary color. We can go into our dark mode. We give you 3 options right off the top just to kind of get you started, but you can fiddle with those as much as you want to when you're in the brand editor. And then we actually have more themes. We have a ton of preset themes that are really beautiful. Some of my favorites are Statement. I love the color. And oh, by the way, we also just launched Video Color, which you can use the same themes but change the color of all of them as well. So you can get even more variation in what you want to try out.
And if you notice, there's a little shuffle button there in the top right-hand corner. That will also shuffle the vibrance. So how light or dark, you can tell by the background of that little thumbnail there, how light or dark your theme is going to be.
Yep. So as you can see, that repopulated the theme completely. Let's go back to our original theme. And then we have resize. Now, as we mentioned, video is great for social media, but you don't want to have to export a ton of different versions, so we enable you to change from square to widescreen. So if you want to be posting things to Instagram, for example, this is one really fast and easy way of getting that done. And we'll change all the assets so they fit in perfectly, so you don't have to fiddle around too much to get things looking the way you want them to look. And yes, the other Instagram story one is coming soon. We're working on it. And then finally, music. Being able to change the music is a really big one as well. So you have music set in here, right?
Yep.
Okay.
We uploaded our own music for this particular video, but there's also, as you can see, a bunch of free options for you to use.
Awesome. So I think we're ready to show our video. Should we take a look at how it all came out? We can also add more pictures too. Oh, I wanted to show
the final version as well.
That's right. I wanted to show how you can also use video as a background. I think that really makes the videos look a lot more dynamic because we already do have a lot of images and static text. So let's add a video in the background here. Let's do this one. And here we can do a little bit of trimming so we can decide how much we want that video to show up in our clip. This video is only 7 seconds long, so let's make it, we'll do 5 seconds here. Hit save, it'll save it to the project. Eventually. It's the Wi-Fi, it's not us. I'm not trying to throw you guys under the bus, don't worry. They're like, it's okay. So then you can see we've got some nice motion in with our slide. All right, let's take a look at the final version of this.
Is the volume on?
I don't think we have the sound. All right. Imagine music playing in your mind. But you can see we do all the transitions for you. This is another thing that we take care of because thinking about those kinds of things takes up a lot of your time, basically. And we want this to be as easy and ready to go as possible. So we build them in automatically in ways that we think work, and it looks great.
And also the transitions, the animations are different per theme. So if you use any of the built-in themes, you're going to get different animations depending on which theme you use. And that kind of goes with whatever the, I guess the theme of the theme is. If that makes sense.
I like that.
I think we have a question here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me show
The
that
question
real
was, how do you adjust the timing so you can better read the slides?
Right. So down here at the very bottom, we have a slider that actually lets you set how long each slide is being shown on screen. So we default to 2 seconds. I typically like it to be 3 to 4 seconds, depending on how much content is on the screen. When you have more text, we give you a max of 30. You almost never need 30 seconds of something being on screen. We have other apps for those kinds of length of videos out there from Adobe. So yeah, definitely more along the lines of anywhere between 4 to 8 seconds for a lot of text is usually pretty good.
Yeah, and one other tip for just general video creation, especially for social media, it's better to keep your videos short, like 90 seconds max, because people lose attention very quickly. And so actually one of the things you'll see as you're using video is if you start getting a lot of slides, it'll start warning you like, hey, maybe you want to shorten your video a little bit. That doesn't mean you can't make your videos long. It just means that we're looking out for you. We're trying to help you create the best, most effective content for your users.
That's right. And now the third format in the Spark family is Spark Page. And this I mentioned is a great way to share information. It's a great way if you're a traveler, for example, to share your photos from a trip in a very easy way. We're using it in this example as oh no, that's your project.
That was our original slides.
That was your slides. It's so good. We do our own presentations in them. All right, where is our case study? There we go. Okay. So we can look at a case study for a fictional client that we've been working with at Endurance Studios. This is the cover image. This is really the image that you want to stand out. It's going to be the thumbnail that people see on social. It's going to be their first experience with your brand or project. And so you want it to look good. You want it to be beautiful. We can actually replace this if we want. We can change it to something. Let's do find free photos again. Search for Pilates. Tons of options. Cool. This is pretty. This is more yoga-y, but I like how it looks too. And another feature that we have is called focal point. This allows you to select a spot on the image that you think is the most important for people to see, and it's where Spark is going to maintain its attention when people are scrolling through your page. So we can say we want it to be up here by her head. Save that. And also you'll notice there's a portrait version of the page as well. This is what it looks like on mobile. So Spark is completely responsive. So Spark Page specifically is going to look good on any screen that you're sharing it on. It's going to look good on mobile. It's going to look good on iPads. It's going to look on any size screen, so just keep that in mind. You can kind of futz around with it too and kind of see like how it adjusts through time as well. All right, so we like that image. We're going to save it. We've got our title here. This is all copy that we can change and edit. And then we scroll down. So essentially, we have a number of different ways that you can show content in Page. If I click on any one of the plus buttons, that's where I can kind of add a module where I can add content like photos, text, call to action buttons, and glide shows. Now, glide shows are really like the secret weapon of Spark Page, so I'm definitely going to show those in a second, so keep that in mind. So this is our split view. So what we can do here is show two different kinds of content at once. We can show images and we can show text, and then even here, We can add more assets, like other photos, for example. Choose that. That looks great. We can do some basic text editing as well. We can change the H1, we can make it H2, we can make it into a quote, and all of these are dictated by the theme that you chose. So if you want to go in, fine-tune that page theme as well, you can change how all of these appear on your final product also. Let's get that back to H1. And if I don't like the layout of this, I can click to change it back and forth. If you want to add another split layout, it's going to automatically put the image on the opposite side. I like to stack these. I think it looks really good. I do this a lot for like customer interviews, for example. I'll have the photo of the person I'm interviewing. I'll have the notes from the interview on the other side, and then I'll do that one by one, and it gives a really nice effect, and it scrolls in a beautiful animated way when you're presenting. All right, let's get that one out of here. Yep. The design process. Now, this is where I really like to get the glide show built in here. We can pick some images from our hard drive. Let's go back to my page. There we go. Images. Let's just pick a few different ones here for an example. That's good. Glide show. Okay, we'll do her. So I can actually do a number of these. I can do a few different glide shows stacked on top of each other as well. And what this actually does is when you have more than one, they will kind of blend into each other and kind of morph from page to page. I can see if I can find an example of that later too.
I think we have our final version open on here.
Awesome. So glide show opens it up to be the full width of the window that you're working in. And then here, you can add text, you can add more images, and it's just a really good way of having like a background image as you're scrolling through. Let's do, what should we call this? Our team, or Power Pilates team. Change that to an H1, make sure it's centered, and then add more text here. They're awesome, I don't know. It's hard to come up with stuff on the fly, you guys, sometimes. There we go. Okay. And so this looks a lot more impressive when there's a lot more content in there, but it's one really great way to kind of show information in a beautiful animated way that you didn't have to spend any time on. Now, this is kind of like our brand treatment for this particular client. So we have a logo. I actually made this logo in Spark, just using stuff from the Noun Factory. And we made our logo. That's just a default font from Spark as well. And then here we made an image showing all of our different font treatments, colors, our color palette, etc. And then we can also do a photo grid. Let's pick some photos from the web here. We can do yoga. Cool. And we can do save. Yeah, so you can add a number of different photos here. I was supposed to add more here. We'll add in more grids. Okay, we'll pick her, 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 her. Great. So essentially I'm just picking things, and it's going to automatically lay these out in a really nice grid. Save. And also has the attribution for all the images as well. Now, you can even embed any number of videos. We'll automatically pull in Spark videos that have been published too if you put the link into a video. So that's just essentially plugging in a YouTube link, Vimeo, Spark Video, a number of different videos that can be hosted on the web here. You can just play it right from here once we publish. And then finally, there's a CTA here at the bottom. And that's just basically a button that you can link to any location that you want to send your users to after the fact. And then, yeah, did we show themes here? I don't think we did show themes. Same as with video, you can also change the themes. We have our branded themes here at the top again. We can change it and we'll apply it all to the entire page for a very different look. Oh, her sweater matches and everything. That was totally on purpose. It wasn't. And then we have our default themes that you can play around with as well. And then finally, we have present mode. Now, this is what Abby was using earlier to actually show you that slideshow in the very beginning. If we click present, it takes us into a mode where you can actually use the mouse keys to scroll through the pages. It's a nice alternative to some of the other presentation modes out there, if we do say so ourselves. And it's just a nice way to kind of jazz up presentations. Again, you don't have to worry about transitions or anything like that. And then you can also share, you can publish, you can embed, so it'll show up in a website if you have an embed module on your site that you're using. So it's a really nice way to add additional content to your website or wherever else you're hosting content. And then here's the final version of our page. And you can see all those animations are built in. We can talk about our research for our group. This is the glide show to glide show thing I was talking about earlier. It just is really smooth, really nice. Gives a very professional flow to the whole presentation.
The photo grids also open up in a light box. So if you click on the social media one at the bottom, you'll be able to see the full image. Because they do fit in this nice grid, but they sometimes get cropped, and so you can still access the full image. As soon as you publish, it'll just open in a light box.
Yep. These are all graphics we made in post as well for this particular brand. Is that it?
Phone?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me get to the phone. So, yeah, Spark is available on iOS also. All 3 apps are available on iOS now. I don't need a Vox notification. Okay. And I'm just going to show you what Post looks like. Everything syncs automatically. So if you're logged into the same account across your devices, whether it be Post Android, Post iOS, on the web, for example, these will all sync up and show perfectly. You can walk through some of our templates. For example, if you're here at Adobe Max, you can see our special Max templates that you can jump in and remix. So we've built out a lot of these for you in advance, but of course you can also go through similar flows of starting things from your brand. Let's see, we can pick a search free photo, sparkler. Let's do lift weights. Cool, okay. So we can make a quick graphic for like a workshop that we want to do, for example. So add one. Let's say it's going to be an Instagram post. Great. We're going to add some text on lifting. Done. Okay, I don't need that one. Need that. We can change the fonts really easily. We've got a ton of different suggested fonts that you can try and play around with. That color is really dark, so we're going to change it with our branded colors. We can zoom in, make it larger. And then we can change the shape of this. We can really play around. Those are a little big, but you can see like we could do that. Everything's going to be click. Everything's touch driven. And the real magical thing about using the iOS apps is that you have an extra feature that we don't have on the web yet, but we hope to soon, which is basically animations. So these are really great. So we can click on, we can see the text, we can have it fade in, we can have it slide, we can have it grow, or we can do cool things with the background image, like a zoom, a pan, or I really like the focus one. And when you save these out to social, the other good benefit of having it here on your phone already is that you can share directly to Instagram, you can share directly to Twitter, and this is going to share out as a video because it has the motion in it, but if you don't want to share it out as a video, you can do a static image as well. And then everything's here, just like that. Spark posts are available. Thank you, Spark. All right.
Okay, so we're going to finish up with some inspiration. We put together a ton of content. I'm just going to run through it, show you guys different options that you can do to create different things in Spark. If you're looking for more Spark opportunities, we have a booth at the Community Pavilion, and it's super fun. We're doing like an 80s themed yearbook photo, and then you get to remix the template in post. So you get a little yearbook and stickers, and it's super fun. You should definitely come by and try it.
We might have lunch boxes left too.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have lunch boxes, and the stickers are awesome. But
yep. Oh, and we also have like props and stuff, so it's like a photo booth. It's super fun.
Yep.
All right, so I put together a bunch of different sort of packages that you could use to market yourself in different ways. The first one I call a blog article package. So what I did was I created a blog article with page, and I titled it 5 Signs It's Time to Hire a Marketing Agency. and I sort of like, used our different features that Veronica talked about to create this blog article that I can then share on social. In addition to that, I also created a post using that same image to create that consistency, making sure we have our logo and our colors on there. And this is something that I can use as a way to promote this article on social as well. The second package that I came up with is an About Us package. This plays into the idea of being authentic, so letting people know who you are. And this has an explainer video, which I will play briefly, but again, like a lot of companies will use these to sort of show who they are, give people insight into their company, and you can't hear the music, but it's got some awesome music playing too. And then I have a little Facebook event graphic that if you host events, this would be a great thing to put up on your Facebook page, so you don't have to use those default ones that everyone's so used to seeing now. Nothing super exciting about that. And then I have a quote. So a quote is a great way to show people what your values are, to show them more about your company and what you believe in. And then finally, I have a design proposal package. And this one is interesting because you might have to pitch to somebody. One of the things that we've heard from a lot of nonprofits is that they use this for pitching for fundraising. We see people who use them for their year-end reviews. In this case, I made a little pitch deck with the present mode, which is back here. And I'll get to that in a second. Sorry, I had the wrong tab open. Lots of tabs. So again, it's branded with our logo, and I can just sort of click through and say, okay, we've talked to people, we know what their challenge is. I can talk through this deck as I'm trying to pitch this to a potential customer. This is what the glide show looks like in present mode. It's pretty, eye-catching and beautiful. So it's a great way to put something together quickly and simply for a proposal. I also created this Feature Friday post, which is if you have certain elements that or designs that you want to feature, maybe you want to do a post for that on Instagram. And going with that same idea, one of the more popular things that I've seen or trends that I've seen going around are these sort of fast-forward videos, particularly for designers and illustrators. And this I did simply by taking a screen capture of me making this logo. And it's about a 40-second video. There is music playing, which you can't hear right now. But as you can see, my little Endurance Studios logo is in the bottom right-hand corner. And it just gives people insight into what does the design process look like and how did I create this awesome logo for Rain City Boxing, a made-up boxing gym. But I think they should exist. So that's kind of some inspiration for you. We're super excited to see what you guys come up with, and at this time, we're happy to take any questions that you have. Yes? The question was, can you present offline? Not yet. So the present mode feature just came out a couple weeks ago, but we are working on enhancing the feature set there and looking at different ways that you'll be able to present.
Yeah, in the back and then pink, yeah. Yes. Yeah, you definitely can.
So the question was, can you make custom sizes on post? And the answer is yes.
Yeah, there's when you go into new, do new graphic, start from scratch, and then custom right here. So you can put it out to any size that you want. So we have a lot of different options that you can choose from, but yeah, absolutely, if you want to change it to custom, go for it. Go ahead.
Oh, we'll get you next.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So the question is, can you download a post if you're not the person who created it?
No, like I will create it, but I wouldn't actually post it to Twitter.
Yes. So you can download. Post downloads as a JPEG. Or a
PNG,
transparent PNG, that you have that option. And video will download as an MP4. We had a question over here. So yeah, so the question was about fonts and whether there's any way to outline them, make it 3D, put on shadows, and that's all in our font options in the design panel for the fonts. We have
access to all of Adobe fonts, I believe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think it's in the thousands.
Well,
no, that's
not
wrong.
yet.
Not wrong.
No.
Not yet.
Right now we have 50 fonts. We are
1 million fonts.
We are looking at integrating Adobe fonts. Yeah. Yeah, so we're looking at integrating Adobe fonts for more variety.
Yes.
Question over here.
We had one over here.
Okay, one over here. We'll get you.
Yeah, we don't have that currently. We don't offer custom domains yet. You can do like domain forwarding or domain mapping, but yeah, we don't support them yet. But that is definitely something we've heard a lot about. And Page doesn't really cover like the website use case right now. But I will definitely bring that back to the team. Mm-hmm. No. Yeah, so if you're in Page, for example, and you want to share it out to anyone, basically you just go in and publish it, and that's going to make a public URL. Yeah, so we just go through share, publish and share link, and once I go through this process of kind of adding the data there, I can just hit create link, and it'll give me a link that'll copy to my clipboard that I can post anywhere.
And we've had a lot of questions about the portfolio use case, actually. Page is really good for visual storytelling. And Adobe Portfolio is actually probably a better product for showing your work in a more kind of structured way. So if you haven't heard of that, I would definitely check it out. Super easy to set up, and it's a great product as well.
Portfolio, yeah.
Yeah, so the question was about integrating with Creative Cloud libraries and also managing multiple brands. So these are both things that we are looking into, and we've heard from a lot of people, so we definitely hear you on that. It's something that we're looking into right now.
Yeah, the multiple brands and collaboration are two top most asked for features and something we're working really hard on right now. Yeah, because we definitely hear from business users that that's something they need access to. Go ahead. What's that?
Suggestions in the box over and above multiple brands.
Yep.
Brand manager in the apps.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And also Active Directory integration, because if you can give this to enterprises to use inside their enterprise networks, that's all you want.
Okay, so we want multiple brands.
Brand manager in
the apps.
Active Directory integration.
So you can share it with people you work with. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
okay.
Totally.
That's a good one. Yeah. Okay.
Great.
That's a good one. In the back there? Go ahead. I can't hear you at all.
Yes. You got some excitement going on.
Yeah. Yeah, you would just do custom resolution for that, or custom, the sizing, and then do like a poster size, and then it should print out great. Yep.
Yeah, and actually one of the newer features of Page is that you can print to a PDF or save to a PDF. So that's another great use case for Page, is if you have a presentation and you want to share out the slides.
Like take homes after, like if we wanted to give you our slides, we could do that. But we didn't do that, sorry.
We have two here. We'll get to both of you. Yes.
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 Yeah, so once you do that publish share link, you post that to Twitter. It'll also activate as a Twitter card. So you'll get that first image. That was our hero image, our cover image. That'll be like the image in your tweet.
And one more over here. Yes.
How does it work with the Facebook 20% overlay rule? I don't know. I don't know. It's a good question.
We're going to have to look into that one.
Yeah, I haven't heard that one before.
Stumped us.
Yeah.
I wish I had a prize for you.
We would solve the whole world? Yeah.
That's good to know.
Priority number 1, solve Facebook.
I think
There's
there's
all
one
of our
more
jobs right now.
question
Okay.
or a couple more.
We had a couple down here too. Go ahead.
So I've accumulated a ton of projects through Spark, and I would also like to see if you guys can make folders
Yes.
for that. That would be great.
There is an active folders beta right now.
Cool. And then another thing is, I think I heard you say it, but I just want to confirm that like Instagram story, like video size, is that updated?
That is like the #1 requested feature for video. Yeah, so we are on that for sure. The question was, do we, folders. She has a ton of Spark projects in that organizer there, and you can sort by alphabetical, you can sort by newest, but yeah, folders was a huge ask. And so right now, are there any Spark insiders in the audience? No? Okay, well, you should be a Spark insider, so email me your email address. So we have a kind of like a beta group that tests out a lot of our new features called Spark Insiders. And so we are testing the folders beta right now. So it allows you to create folders, drag and drop projects into them. And that will obviously have some ramifications around collaboration down the line. So yeah, that's definitely happening. And then the other one was the Instagram stories size, right? 16 by 9. Yep, that is the #1 video feature, I would say, right now that people are working on. Go ahead.
Can I push assets to other users?
Not yet.
Not yet. That's part of the collaboration stuff that we're working on and part of the team stuff. So the question was, can he push assets like logos or images to other users? So we have the remix, but that's not really the same.
Yeah, that and you can't really send people. We've been looking into things like template sharing, collaboration, locked co-editing, things like that, and that's definitely huge. Very high on our priority list right now. So we are looking into those things, but you can't yet share projects with people.
Any other questions? Go ahead. No. The question was, can you export a page out to HTML or JavaScript? No, we don't allow that right now. You can embed the page, like I was saying, into other websites. So we give you the embed code, and that'll pull it into another service, but we don't have the HTML available. Sure.
How do you ensure the availability if I embed it somewhere?
Yeah.
You guarantee like a 99%?
I mean, yeah, we don't. I have never seen it go down. So that's it, like, how can we ensure the availability of the content? How can you ensure the availability of any cloud-hosted content? Would be probably my answer. Like, the uptime is like as good as we can get it, which is very good. I would say, yeah.
In general, performance and quality is something our engineers put a lot of time and effort into. And so if something like that ever happened, it would be fixed, as soon as possible. Like, we would know about it immediately and we'd be on it. So we have never seen anything that crazy happen, but it's the excitement of putting content on the internet, I guess, is that sometimes it's not available.
But ours is, for the most part. All the time. Yeah, never mind.
We can't make any guarantees.
I can't promise that. I can just say I've never seen anything bad happen like that. All right. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, this was awesome. Thank you so much for coming. Enjoy the rest of Max and stop by our booth. We will be excited to see you.